go. Alright, we are off to a speedrun of Pacehaven Maze 2.0, and this maze has changed quite a lot. You might notice a few holes in the fences and whatnot. That's just a product of the fact that Nintendo patched this maze, or patched the game rather, so that the current game mechanics don't really allow this maze to be solved. But I am doing a speedrun of the route that was intended, and that will actually allow... Oh, come on. And that will allow me to kind of show off the route as it was meant to be done. I've got a pretty good handle of these side steps and jumps and stuff like that, so we should be able to speed through here pretty quickly. The very beginning of the maze was a tutorial that we skipped as intended, and then we went through an area called Lost Woods. That was pretty quick. Now we're hopping our way through Green Hill Zone and onto Cheap Cheat Beach. This is all themed around various video game properties, and I had a lot of fun building it, and even more fun giving tours to various other streamers who were able to solve this maze on their streams. And I think you'd love to see the video compilation of those streamers doing this. So this path through Green Hill Zone is full of a couple of tricky jumps that may not actually... Oof, you can see it's even taking me a moment to do. But some people have quite a lot of trouble with those. Just getting the right angle on the control stick is one of the tricks of this game. Okay, hopping. And there is a lot, it's not so much backtracking, but we are needing to go back to places in the maze where we've been very, very close to before. So you can see here we're climbing up. That's the Lost Woods we were in earlier in front of us. But we're actually traveling down here to this tutorial area that we skipped earlier. And you could spend 20 minutes in this tutorial area if you don't know the solution, as somebody who's just trying to solve the maze. But this little path here on the left is a sneaky path that I put in that only goes backwards. Just to mess up some of our maze runners. You see little holes in the fences. That's just because I've modified this a little bit since the patch to make these areas more accessible to people who aren't trying to solve the maze. But everything I'm doing right now is something that was possible in the maze as it was originally designed. This area is really fun. You can't tell just by looking at it, but there's only one place where you can climb up. And that's because all of these simple panels are shifted over by half a tile. And the way the ladder mechanics work in this game, you can only climb up or down on the middle of a tile and not in between two tiles. So you have two items placed half a space each. Even though they're a full space apart, you can't climb in between them. That was Pinna Park, by the way, that we went through with the funhouse. And then this right here is Rogueport, which is a little scene from Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door. And now what we're into is actually the same maze as we had in Pacehaven Maze 1.0. And I wanted to keep this as part of the maze as Maze 2.0. So this basically makes up the second third, if you will, of the maze. So we started with some new and original sections, and now we're into something that's a little more familiar. But once we get through this maze, once we get through everything that was part of Maze 1.0, we'll be back into the original sections of this maze. Looks like we're sitting at around 4.5 minutes of progress. That seems about right. We are less than halfway through the maze. This is a long maze, and it kind of twists and winds around itself several times. Even though there's no backtracking, there's no... it's not like a Metroidvania-style maze. The paths overlap each other and crisscross, and it's a very three-dimensional maze. Climbing. Now we've reached an area called Fossil Canyon, inspired by Diddy Kong Racing, which was my first video game, and I have really, really fond memories of that game, and Fossil Canyon as well, just like a fun track in Diddy Kong Racing. So even though this was part of the original maze, it's completely visually redone. You can see those flowers and trees back there. All of that is part of an elaborate red herring, which is something that we are going to be skipping over in a few minutes. But first, there's Guardia Prison. This area is really fun. I think this is the first part of the maze that I actually planned. Come on. It was the last part of the original maze that was built, Pacehaven Maze 1.0. And I guess for the most part, Pacehaven Maze 1.0 was completely unplanned. I just started building, and what I ended up with was everything except for this one. Except for this one section. But when I added this section, it was a lot of fun. So now I'm following the jump pattern, which was possible in the original maze. Given the new mechanics of Animal Crossing since the October patch, you don't necessarily have to follow this path anymore. But in the interest of showing you the solution for the maze as it was, I'm just kind of following these same jump patterns as well. Climbing. And this takes us into Golden Forest, which is kind of a well-known track from 1080 snowboarding. Love Golden Forest. You can watch a pretty good documentary on the world record history of Golden Forest, and some good competition on that track. And now we're just a hop away from Satori Mountain from Breath of the Wild. And this was actually the ending of the original maze. This was the finish line. But like I said, the original maze kind of only makes up about a third of what Pacehaven Maze 2.0 became. So as we're hopping across now, we are past the original maze as it was, and we're moving on to new content. And I will say that what's left in the maze is the hardest parts of the maze. And we are 7 minutes and 51 seconds as we're just climbing down into Mahi Mahi Resort. Fun stage from Splatoon. But we don't stay here long, we just go right back into Golden Forest. Like I said, we are looping around ourselves many times in this. Hopping around. Ooh, I even got stuck there for a moment. This little trick here with the log that you have to sit on. It doesn't necessarily look like a bench, but it's a bench. Alright, and we're hopping, and we don't keep hopping. That's a trick. We come down here, and this is my other favorite part of the maze, besides Satori Mountain. See, this is actually my username. It says Age Dude in the waterfalls. And you'll see it on the map later. So this is the U, and the D, and the E. One of those little touches from the from my original Maze Island that I decided to kind of move over to this central area. Just an aesthetical thing. Alright, now we're close. This is kind of like the hardest maze puzzle in the island. Sitting on these stools, a quarry mine. It's a Stardew Valley reference. And this jump right here, I have a setup for it, so it's very easy. But that is very, very precise. I've had people spend up to an hour trying to find that one jump. So unless you know exactly how to approach the jump and what angle to hold, you have to get pretty lucky. And just following the normal path through the quarry mine. Basically, anywhere I'm not sitting is a place where either you can't sit or a stool that you can't get off of. Although there is a little hop here to save a very small amount of time. Here we go. One stool. And another precise jump. Hopefully I can get it quickly. Oh, I'm losing time. Okay. It wasn't awful. I'm not sure if this is going to be the best I've ever done speedrun. But I do think it's pretty good. I do regret that I wasn't able to record this before the patch kind of destroyed the maze as we knew it. We're going to follow this area here. And this is kind of there's actually two diverging paths, and this is where we did the race, the boss fight of Pacehaven Maze, where I was the boss. There was a lot of fun. I'm taking the left path here, which is the path that the challenger would take, because it is faster, and it was measured to be faster. So I made sure that whoever was challenging me had a fighting chance, and that they would definitely be able to beat me if they did a good job on this part of the maze. We're going. And like I said, the fastest I've ever been able to do this was a 12 minutes and 16 seconds to the bridge. So we'll see. We're going to be cutting it close. I don't think I'm going to quite make that, but I'll be happy with this run anyways for the purpose of recording. And just to show you the full solution of Pacehaven Maze 2.0, as we're in the final running stretch, hoping not to get caught on anything we don't need to, and apparently 12:10 is possible, and we just did. Okay. That is it for Pacehaven Maze 2.0. And if you haven't seen it yet, then you can see the map. This is Pacehaven, my island. You got the name there in the middle, which is made of waterfalls. And really fun to look at this and see all of the different areas. I had a lot of fun making this. It took over 200 hours to make all of it, if you include the building and decorating time for the original maze and for this maze that I added on top of it. So it was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.